Welcome back to the channel, baby. So I don't usually put on all my rain gear, but there was thundering and lightning, so I'm going for it. I drove up from that. It was hot where I was at, and I knew it was storming up here, so I drove into the storm on purpose to cool off. And I guess it worked, because you definitely don't put on this rain gear when you're hot, because it does not breathe. What a beautiful day. Man, the ride has been so amazing. And then, I mean, look at that beauty. She's sexy from all angles. Fun little ride today. This is so nice. It was really hot at my place. So to drive up here, and it's got to be 25 degrees cooler. It's hard to get that pinky ring just right, you know. And that one. All right. Oh, my wallet. Oh, well. That ain't going anywhere. I don't usually ride with my wallet in my pocket, but too much going on right now with all this weather and changing. This gas station was empty when I pulled into it, and it is just crowded now. Hope this doesn't put like raindrops on the lens and mess up your view. Continuing north, baby, into the storm. Oh wow, I hope that got caught on film, but there's a massive elevation difference, so that's obviously why. But what a great metaphor, riding into the storm, for all the conversations that we've been having and all the beautiful things that we've been learning together. And it's just a nice reminder, you know, you don't want to ride around revved up when the weather's like this, you know, so when you would normally be in second gear when the weather's like this, maybe you're in third or fourth. You don't want your tires to slip, and you try to ride in the marks of other people's tires. So like right now I would normally be downshifting, but I'm gonna go ahead and I guess I'll be downshifting after all. I did not expect a traffic jam. So just like in life, you know, we go through hard times and we don't realize all the gifts that we're getting from them. Like, I know how to ride in this weather because I've done it so many times that it's just second nature. keep the RPMs way down, no sudden movements. Man, what a nightmare. I don't really want people behind me on a slippery road. I think this is probably the safest thing for me to do. Of course, you know, there's a semi that's pulled over. Oh, Lord. Doing his little push-ups. That's great. So that didn't go according to plan. Out of here. It's just not, sometimes you have to do what's right for you. And there's no way somebody on their cell phone is going to allow them to rear end my ass. But yeah, I mean, how many times have you gone through a difficult time and you're stressed out at the time and thinking of all the negative stuff, not even realizing all the beautiful gifts that you're given? Man, this weather is something else. Not smart to be out here like this. This is where obstacles that could hurt your tires and stuff like that are. But once again, it's like you have to pick your poison. A new tire doesn't cost that much. Some distracted driver on a slippery road behind you, not ideal. Man, I'm really glad I put on this rain suit, you guys. I leave it in my bags. It's always in my saddlebag. And I usually just like to get wet, but sometimes what happens is when it rains too heavy, and any of my real riders will know the feeling, but the water seeps down into your crotch and it's freezing cold and it's like you wet yourself. It's so uncomfortable. And this is exactly the kind of rain that would be dripping down into my crotch. So very happy. My feet are wet. I did not wear my waterproof shoes. I wore my summertime shoes because it was 105 degrees when I left my house. And just how amazing is that to go from 105 degrees to this beautiful. My visor is completely sort of like fogged over and rainy, so hopefully the camera is not so bad. Oh, it's one lane now. So yeah, I could think back to so many times in my life. I mean, when in your life have you gone through something that at the time seemed like a difficult time, but then in hindsight, you wouldn't take it back? I think this is good enough. Because of what you got from it was so much more powerful than the pain of what you were going through. Man, my visor is, you know, I think you're not supposed to Rain-X these things, but it would sure be nice to have Rain-X. Usually if you're going 70, 80, even 60, 70, 80, 90, you can pretty much see because the wind is constantly pushing all the moisture off here. And then a little trick is you can look off to the side if you're going 60 or 70 and you you look to the right, all the water kind of pushes off like a windshield wiper, and you can look left. You have all these tricks, but here we go. What a ride, what a ride. I'm glad that you guys were here for this one. I rode up with my homie, and so we were on the Cardos chit-chatting, but he turned around and went back down the hill. He actually just rode in the heat and avoided the bad weather altogether, which is also a vibe. He's not afraid of the weather, he just had to be home for dinner, so I could explain to you my visibility here. Maybe it shows up on the camera, but I can't see anything. Wild. I can see like a line going down the center of the road I'm following. So sorry for rambling. I wanted to talk to you guys about hard times and all the things we learned, but it's like there's so much. I'm fully stimulated here, looking behind me, beside me, in front of me, trying to see through the raindrops, gauge my speed, my RPMs, all the safety precautions, because safety first. There we go, I can see the road now. On just my childhood alone, I remember when I first became homeless. Man, you guys, it was something pathetic. You know, I'm 12 years old, so I totally blamed the world, but I was super upset about it. I mean, it was devastating. Devastating like not many things as an adult could compare. You know, I mean, losing a loved one or something. I think when you're an adult, your brain's a little bit more formed and you have a better ability, but maybe not. Maybe it's hard on everybody, but it was a pretty pathetic experience. Very sad. I cursed God. I felt sorry for myself. And I really thought that I had the worst existence in the world. Nobody my age was sleeping on the streets. And most of the homeless people that are adults, they have sort of a reason, you know, maybe a drug addiction or a mental illness or some sort of thing that's going on. There's not a whole lot of ambitious homeless people. But there are a few that are going through hard times, and I send you all my love and support. But I think the point of that is that I just really didn't feel like I belonged there and didn't want to be there. And it made things very, very, very difficult for me. And at the time, like I said, it was just this nightmare of a life that brought me into deep depression. It brought me into alcoholism, drug addictions, all kinds of horrible things that at the time I loved, you know. Nothing to me was better than popping some ecstasy and getting a hand massage with some cute girl, you know. But even when you're having good times, you know that you're in the depths. Like, you know you're living a dark life and that it's not a good one. And you're finding these moments of peace, but you know that they're superficial. You know that they're artificial. And you're miserable. And, you know, if I could go back right now, if I could teleport back as me and being that homeless boy, I would have just embraced the freedom of it. It was so free to do anything I wanted, to sleep when I wanted, stay out as late as I wanted. Free in a funny way, like I couldn't eat what I wanted because I had no money, and I couldn't sleep anywhere I wanted because I had to hide and find places in the dirt, and I'd shiver and be cold and I couldn't cover up. So like there's some things that weren't considered freedom, but there was also this freedom to it, this ability to learn life faster. You know, the first time I ever really realized I was in danger, I bought a gun off the street, and I saved up enough money from selling acid to get this gun. And this is just one of those things that would only happen to a punk-ass kid. But the guy that was selling it to me was like, "Oh yeah, I got you, I'll get you a gun right now, $200, you know, whatever." So I got $200 together, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go around the corner. My buddy over there has a gun he's gonna sell you. Give me the money, I'm gonna go get the gun, I'll meet you back here." And so I give him the $200, he walks around the corner to get the gun, I never see him again. You know, a pretty standard hustle. And you have to be a young kid to fall for it, but I learned to understand the hustle. I learned to know when I was being hustled or when a person was somebody who was trying to hustle me. And you learn the hard way, and the harder you learn, the more the lesson sticks, the easier it is. Oh wow, I'm already at my exit, so I'm turning around now and I'm going back into the rain, I think. So I was actually scared for my life because I was at a friend's apartment. So even though I was respected by the older kids, I had an older friend who had his own apartment in the projects. It's not like it was a nice apartment. And the projects are very, very dangerous if you, in the 80s and 90s especially. But I'm over at his house one night and I'm sitting on the couch. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and we're in there smoking a blunt, and the door gets kicked in, and none of us had a gun at the time, and we're just sitting on the couch getting high at 2 a.m. and you know, this is the 90s, so we're talking because we don't have a big flat screen TV on the wall with all the channels and chill watching Netflix. We were just high having a conversation late at night, the old school way. And yeah, the door kicks in and this guy comes in, big scary guy with a gun, bloodshot eyes, looked like he was definitely on some drugs, and he points a gun at us. Didn't want to rob us, he literally just wanted to let us know that he could kill us. And he points the gun right at me, and he's like, "I could take your life right now. You're only alive because I'm letting you live. Your life belongs to me. I own you." Like, crazy. And he's just pointing this gun at me, and I'm trying my best not to react. You know, I'm just sitting on the couch looking at him. And you know, you don't want to do sudden movements when somebody's got a gun pointed at you and you're sitting on the couch stoned. So, and then he like leaves, and we all looked at each other like, what in the world just happened? Like, that was crazy. So I knew I needed a gun. I didn't want to be vulnerable ever again. This is obviously the story that you guys need to hear right now, because for some reason I haven't talked about this in 20 years, and this is what came out just now in the call about riding through the storm. But so this guy scares the daylights out of me and reminds me how vulnerable I am, as if I didn't already know, sleeping on the streets every night. You feel vulnerable, like there's no question anything can happen out there. I met a homeless dude who had a scar from ear to ear, said he was sleeping on a park bench, and another homeless guy walked up and slit his throat for a bag of pennies that he had. A bag of pennies, slit this dude's throat, and somehow he lived, and the scar was just nasty. So, you know, shit happens out there. The streets are real. It's worse than what you see on TV. So then I knew of a guy, of a person in my neighborhood that had one and bragged that they had it under their mattress where they slept. And so I actually broke into this dude's house and crept through while he was asleep, crawled on all fours to the edge of his bed while he was sleeping, stuck my hand under his mattress, got the gun as he snored in my ear, and then snuck out, crawled out the window, and took off. And that's how I got my first gun. And so it's funny because I told you guys a story in a previous video about getting stuck in that storm and almost freezing to death, and having to break into a garage to get out of the storm and not, die of hypothermia. So in that moment, I feel horrible. I break into this house, I feel horrible, I'm sleeping in the garage, I'm just trying to survive. It's a scary, horrible moment for me. And then fast forward a year, and that ability to break into a house and quietly sneak around that I practiced and harnessed on multiple occasions for sleep turned out to be my saving grace when things started to get hot on the streets and I needed some protection. Also getting robbed for the first gun. No one has ever robbed me again. No con has ever been played on me since then. I can read people's eyes. I can see their shiftiness. I know when it's not the right situation. This is all stuff that I picked up. So, when you're going through these issues and these hard times and you have these things happening in your life, I think even before the hindsight, you should allow yourself to see the blessings in it. Because they're there, and we don't always know it at the time. I didn't know at the time, sleeping in that garage, that life skill was going to save my ass. And it saved me way more than that one time. It saved me a lot. I learned really quickly as a youngster that drug dealers are outlaws and they live outside the rules of society, and they have their own code and their own way of dealing with things. And I needed to get money to survive. And so I knew that if I robbed an old lady for her purse, or some respected dentist for his watch, I was gonna be running from the cops my whole life. But I knew I could jack a couple pounds of weed or a couple rolls of hundreds from a stash spot, and the cops would never get called. And yeah, the streets might find out it was me, and I might have to deal with some street justice, but that was safer to me because I was already in danger. I was already dealing with drama on the streets, already running for my life. So what's the difference? When you're always looking over your shoulder anyway, you can keep piling on the trouble because you're looking anyway. And so those home invasion skills helped majorly. And I look back on those times with shame, but also I was young. I was in middle school. I was in survival mode. I was scared. I was depressed. I was crying at night. I was really trapped in this world that I didn't choose to be in. And I was just doing everything I could to survive it and get out of it, which I did. I got my education, started my businesses. Now I'm here on this amazing motorcycle, look at this road. Look at what I've done with myself. These are from all the lessons. And so you got to remember that. Even right now, I've got a few things going on, and it's tough. Life's never perfect. Life is an amazing, beautiful journey. And it's just important to focus on the blessings of it. You wake up every day grateful to be alive another day. I went to the gym this morning. I was just grateful that I could go move my body, stretch. Got on my bike today to get out of the heat. It went from 105 degrees to cold, wet air. I'm wearing a raincoat. Like, what a beautiful life. And so no matter what kind of hard time you're going through, you're still alive and you're here. You have a reason to be happy and a reason to be grateful. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today. This is such a beautiful ride. You know what I'm probably going to do is just shut up and film the rest of this canyon with just engine noise and post a separate video of just quiet riding. That might be nice. But I'm really enjoying this road right now. Hope the rain didn't mess up the camera. Hopefully it's still recording. Hopefully there's not a spot on the lens that's making this whole video suck. But such is life, baby. We deal with what we got. And what we got right now is water spots on my helmet, which means there's probably water spots on the lens. If you're still listening, I love you guys very much. You have all my respect and all my gratitude, and I hope one of you needed to hear this. Get out there and do good things. Be good. Help people when you can, because the world needs it, and I know you will. And if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.